Bitcoin maximalists and evangelists see it as a symbol of financial freedom and self-sovereignty. Wall Street sees it as a way to make money from people who want to make money from the changes in its price. Investors see it as a way to grow and secure their wealth. Such is the nature of an open, permissionless, electronic peer-to-peer cash system. Everybody uses it for whatever they want and everybody views it for whatever they want. Some focus on the money. As Thomas says, all profits in this racket come from having your money in the right places at the right times. When you only think about the money, you will never see the revolution. The true revolution, a shift in paradigm and mindset. A re-evaluation of our modern notions of wealth, money, and commerce. When an idea exists as computer code, no government can legislate it away. No entity can destroy it, nor the idea and the values it represents. A cryptocurrency can never truly die. Can governments drive it underground? Maybe. Or, more likely, use it for their own benefit. For example, legalizing and taxing its use or revenues from mining it. Or maybe building payment, settlement, and record-keeping platforms on its blockchain. They might even use it to get around international sanctions. Does that seem sacrilegious? The authorities using an anti-authority money system. It shouldn't. Everybody can use Bitcoin however they want. We control the outcome. And if it's not Bitcoin, it will be some other cryptocurrency. When anybody can create a monetary system from their laptop and release it on a global scale, the sky's the limit for what you can create. If governments try to take over Bitcoin, somebody will create another version. When elites conspire to take over one blockchain, somebody will create a different one. Code exists forever, everywhere. Bitcoin simply provides a platform for free, private financial transactions. With Bitcoin, you never need to ask permission. You only need to act. If Bitcoin sucks, build a new version, give it a different name and consensus algorithm, and try to make money with it. Eventually, you will find something that sticks. The question is, can you do that before Dripchain, sidechains, Lightning Network, Taproot, and dozens of other innovations beat you to it? Can you deliver a blockchain that has the same security without governance flaws? Can you compete with hundreds of other altcoins trying to do the same thing? Perhaps somebody will out-Bitcoin Bitcoin. Until then, let everybody else get bogged down in technicalities and distracted by greed. The revolution will continue on whatever blockchain suits it best. At some point, people will care about the social, cultural, and economic impact of global, public, cryptographically secure, time-stamped distributed ledgers. One day, normal people will discuss good legal frameworks and regulations for cryptocurrency, as well as ways to use it for the public's welfare. Frankly, I'll be okay with an informed discussion about decentralized governance. It's a start. Eventually, civic leaders will use Bitcoin's blockchain to create fairer, more efficient ways to deliver public goods and services. Workers will create massive wealth-building opportunities and poor people will have unprecedented access to global financial networks. One day, maybe? Everybody has to make their money first. Perhaps greed and wealth are moral loss leaders for Bitcoin. Come for the riches, stay for the ideals. After all, it's the ideals that matter. Before you get lost in all-time highs and shorting the bankers, remember the whole point of all of this. Bitcoin represents shared ideals. It represents an alternative to a system that always lets us down. As Hannah Hayar said, Bitcoin reveals the truth. If you value financial privacy, security, self-sovereignty, fairness, and integrity, you will find it in Bitcoin. Unless we present this vision of Bitcoin, we will end up victims of the same selfish, self-serving results we always get with everything else. Rules written by lobbyists for the benefit of the wealthy, laws crafted for political gain instead of the public's welfare. And we will let this happen because institutional investors will pay us to let them write these rules. Every higher high and grayscale purchase brings us a little closer to the day that Wall Street takes over Bitcoin, as it's taken over every other financial asset. And we will happily let it do so, in exchange for more of our government's money. Only then does Bitcoin get weak. Only then can governments crush it. This revolution started as a rejection of the status quo, not as a way to replicate that system as a set of computer protocols. It can't end with market cycle peaks and Lambos. Governments can kill technology. They can't kill ideals. Those ideals must endure. They must stay strong in the face of government actions and long after some developer creates a better Bitcoin. Those ideals matter far more than FOMO and blue sky breakouts. They speak to our subconscious need for freedom and opportunity. They serve a public benefit greater than any of our politicians can provide. As long as we want them to, Bitcoin is already changing the daily lives of millions of people all around the world. Bitcoin phenomenally ended the year 2020 with a bull run that demonstrated to as many people as possible that the target of $100,000 by the end of 2021 was not an illusion. When I say today that I am expecting the Bitcoin price to be 100K at the end of 2021, some Bitcoiners even end up accusing me of conservatism now. Of course, they do this to tease me, but I have to say that I also end up thinking that the price of Bitcoin will end the year 2021 even higher. All these figures seem to make some people dizzy, and they forget that Bitcoin is much more than a financial investment. While Bitcoin price has increased dramatically since 2010, from 5 cents to $35,000 at the time of writing, Bitcoin is really not about money. As you read this, you'll wonder what the hell I'm talking about. If you've ever bought Bitcoin, and I'm sure you have if you read my articles frequently, you must have noticed that the fiat money that you put safely into the Bitcoin network keeps increasing in value in US dollars over time. Bitcoin, therefore, seems to you to be about money, since it is the best investment available to protect you from the great monetary inflation that we are currently experiencing and that will continue to intensify in the coming months. Bitcoin is not an investment, but the best savings technology in the world. First of all, you must understand that Bitcoin's value is increasing as much for its extraordinary qualities as for the increasingly evident weakness of the US dollar. The world's reserve currency continues to lose value, which only reinforces the value in US dollars of the world's best money, Bitcoin. Nevertheless, you must stop seeing Bitcoin as a financial investment. Bitcoin is first and foremost a savings technology. Bitcoin is even the best savings technology in the world. You place in the Bitcoin network the fiat money that you wish to protect from the ravages of monetary inflation. If you are patient enough, you will be greatly rewarded because your wealth will be protected. It will be protected from monetary inflation, but also any kind of censorship against you. No one will be able to arbitrarily take your hard-earned money from you. No one will be able to stop you from using your hard-earned money as you want. So Bitcoin gives you power. With Bitcoin, you are free to send, receive, and keep your money. You are in total control. The government cannot force you to spend your BTC, nor can it steal from you by making the value of your BTC fall through monetary inflation. Westerners find it difficult to understand that Bitcoin is first and foremost about power. Bitcoin is not about money, Bitcoin is about power. If you live in the United States, Canada, or Europe, you must have a hard time realizing this at first glance. You feel that you can use your fiat money whenever you want. You may have already had problems with your bank. It's even a certainty because these problems are so frequent, but you tell yourself that it's nothing serious. You keep wondering why some Bitcoiners like me keep telling you that Bitcoin changes daily lives. I don't blame you, because in the past, I too may have had my own biased view of the world just like you. As Westerners, we are generally privileged. We live in countries under democratic regimes and strong economics. Democracy is not perfect, but we do not face the same risks from our governments as people living in Iran, Venezuela, or Zimbabwe. We have easy access to the banking system. When I talk about banking inclusion, it sounds far-fetched to you. Yet hundreds of millions of people living on the African continent are excluded from the current banking system. These people have no hope with the current system. Bitcoin is their only hope for banking inclusion right now. This monetary and financial system is totally unfair to the majority of the people on Earth. But the powerful people at its head will do nothing to change it because they are among the 1% who benefit the most from it. You have to look at emerging countries or countries under authoritarian regimes to see the incredible impact of Bitcoin. If you make the effort to look outside the Western world, you will quickly see why Bitcoin is changing the daily lives of millions of people. You will come to the same conclusion as me: Bitcoin is already a plan A for millions of people. Bitcoin protects the citizens of Venezuela, Iran, Lebanon, Zimbabwe, or Argentina from the ravages of monetary inflation caused by totally incompetent, but worst of all, corrupt leaders. These countries where Bitcoin changes lives have in common that they are under authoritarian regimes or totally corrupt. By buying Bitcoin, and then becoming a Bitcoin hodler of last resort, you allow Bitcoin to become more and more valuable. You allow the Bitcoin positive feedback loop to continue its cycle. This attracts more and more users, which supports the network, which is also still usable by those millions of people who need it in their daily lives.